Hi, I'm YaYa, and I want to welcome you to the seventh episode in the beginner's playlist, the best easy videos for watercolor on the web. Today, we're going to talk about watercolor lettering. You want to make gorgeous watercolor letters, but you feel like a confused raccoon staring at art supplies like me? You're in the right place. Whether you write like a clapper or caffeinated squirrel like me, we're going to keep it easy. Today we're diving into watercolor lettering. And no, you don't need to be perfect handwriting or a degree in calligraphy. I'm a case in point. But in this fun, no pressure tutorial, we're going to break down watercolor lettering using watercolor brush pens, good old brushes, as well as watercolor pencils. Then we're going to take a sneak peek at YaYa's hacks, since I can't do lettering, and I'll freely admit it. And as always, the best easy lettering tutorials. So first we're going to talk about watercolor pens. And I have 3 different kinds, and they have not helped me at all. There is a really good tutorial attached, so you may just fall in love with watercolor pens. And as you notice, 2 of them have flat tops. That's because I can never make it be blunt on the top, so I've snipped off my tips. Whether that works for you or not, I'll let you decide. And I just want to show you what I'm telling you. So here's my attempt at writing with watercolor pens. I mean, you can read it, but it's nothing spectacular. So again, I'm going to refer you to the video on watercolor pens. Again, I showed this last time. This is my favorite book for practice writing just because it has lines, and I can't keep a straight line even when I try. So I really like the Strathmore paper. The link will be down below. And see, again, I was practicing, but it's there. This is the only one I like. There's not a lot of hope for me in that kind of writing. So watercolor pens. Next up is just good old brushes. And for the most part, what I used this week is I used a round number 4. It's a smaller tip. It works great. I did want to show you a couple other brushes though that I have tried and that are also interesting. This is a filbert size 4, and if you know, it's got a little bit more of a squared end on it. So again, it lets me make a flat top. How's that, instead of a pointy top at the top? And I don't know that they're any better, to be honest, but here's an example of what I did with the filbert. Looks pretty much the same as the other one. I don't have the ability to do nice handwriting. I'll freely admit it. So those are 2 round brushes. So I want to talk about watercolor with the pen again, and then with the brush again. So this one I did with the round brush, not the filbert square one, but the round brush. And as you can tell, you know I like to embellish things on here. The biggest hint I can give you for when you're going to use a brush is to draw on what you're gonna paint first. It keeps it, for me who can't paint letters, it makes it much easier. And so I don't know if you can zoom in here and see, but I do have, there are pencil lines here which get covered up when I do the gold around them. But joy, for whatever reason, I can draw and paint, but not much else. So this was just a simple of showing you like a before and after here on what that looks like when you use a brush. And I like that a lot. Next up is watercolor pencils. This one again, the biggest hint I can give you is draw your letters first. And I'm going to show you where this came from pretty soon. It's in a book. We're going to review a book today as well. Basically, you color your letters with pencils. And then you use, same brush I used here. It's not a lot of water, just enough water. And I typically start at the top, clean my brush, start at the bottom, and then blend them in the middle. So another example of watercolor pencils is this one. This is one of the videos this week in how to use them. And I have a set of Winsor & Newton watercolor pencils. It's just their smaller set. I've heard other sets are just as good, so I don't have a preference with watercolor pencils. There are other brands out there. But basically all I did was use the azure and the yellow on here. And just like the video shows you, is color it in with the pencil and then lightly go over it with your brush. And voila, that's what you end up with. So I kind of like watercolor pencils. You know, I've been giving examples of poor watercolors pencils on my part before, but I've decided I like them for lettering. So that may be my new use, my new favorite use for watercolor pencils. So we're going to talk about YaYa's hacks next, and I have two. The first one is, believe it or not, I can do artistic letters, not nice calligraphy letters, but I can do artistic letters somewhat okay. This is my favorite watercolor lettering book. I have several, but I like this. It's by Kelly Clapstein. Um, Again, you know, my favorite books, you open them up and there is something to paint everywhere you go. So I just wanted to show you a couple of examples here. I've done this for my grandkids. Again, I just drew out my letters how I wanted them, painted them, and then embellished them with mixed media. So again, here was the inspiration. I thought, oh, I can do something like that. My letters are totally different, but it's kind of fun. The other thing I wanted you to notice on here is I stuck a bow on here. That was not intentional. When I was drawing my border, I smeared right there, and it was a pretty big dot. So hey, let's make it into a bow. If I wouldn't have told you that, would you have known? So be creative when you make goofs. Another one in here, and I apologize I didn't mark it, was the high. Again, this book has fun letters. I can do this kind of stuff. So that's what I like about this book. There's the high right there that I showed you earlier that I did with watercolor pencils. The other thing it has in here that's kind of fun is that it has big letters and how to do fancy letters. So I was practicing for one of the granddaughters. I never decided what I liked. I kind of like the monochromatic, but I think the mom liked this one and I just haven't finished it up. So another thing to do with lettering. These I actually use, I just want to show you that, is I use some angled pencils. And these are Princeton Select, and I have a 1/4 inch and a 3/8 inch. And what's really nice is that they're fairly easy to make a straight line with. That's why I like them for bigger letters. So again, bigger, smaller, makes bigger and smaller letters. So angled brushes can come in handy. And then last but not least, this is actually one of your homework assignments for creative lettering here. And it's not the colors on the screen. And I'm going to give you a hint. On the screen, it's not real watercoloring. If you look at it, it's a watercolor letter. But she did it on, he or she, I think so, she did it on her iPad. So again, the point is for inspiration. I did all these on a piece of paper with watercolors and embellished it similar to what they have. So don't limit yourself to where you find things to inspire you, is the moral of that. I'm going to ask a question here. I'm going to be brave because I want some answers from you all. Does anybody I shouldn't say without, does anybody do lettering well, the nice lettering? And if so, do you have videos that you'd be willing to share that I can also then reshare here on the website? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. Okay, the second YaYa's hack, and I ask for no judgment here. These are some examples, and you go, hey, yeah, that's not bad down there. Well, guess what? These are all stencils. I have learned that I can't write, so I can do fun letters, but this was a stencil for happy birthday. And again, mixed media on top of it. I think it made it kind of fun. Two more different stencils here for hello. I did those with watercolor pencils again to fill it in. And believe it or not, this is a stencil. All I did was make the downstrokes a little bit thicker where I could, and it turned out pretty good. So this is actually what I use if I need to put thank you on a card, because I cannot write thank you. And if I want it to look nice, I use a stencil. Like I said, no judgments. And as always, below you'll find the links to the best easy videos. I have one each for you, one that uses pencils, the watercolor pencils, one that uses a water pen, and she makes it look so easy, and I wish I could do it, and I have practice, but I can't. And then there's hand lettering using a brush and how to do it. And the last one at the top there is the, catch that word, iPad lettering. But again, you can do it for real on your paper. And then last I put an optional one because it's listed as a beginner. And it's sort of easy. I'll go that far to say she makes 3D looking letters. And she has a stencil for you that you can print out um, to use. And she talks about doing monogram and how to shade them, and also doing different colors. And she talks about complementary colors. So there's a lot of interesting stuff in there besides just making the letters. But I put it as optional. But I like, again, I watch everything that I show you. I really liked watching hers. So there you have it, folks. Your super speedy, slightly silly, and hopefully very helpful guide to beginner watercolor lettering. Remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about play. It's about letting your creativity flow, much like the lovely watercolors do. The most important thing is to have fun with it. And that's me. So you've learned my hacks. I do fun letters and I do stencils. Don't forget, we all start somewhere, and the joy is in the journey. So don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. So go forth, make some beautiful, colorful words today. And don't forget to check out the tutorials and links below in the description. Thanks for joining me today. I had fun, even though I'm not the best letterer, as you found out. So if you liked this episode or found it helpful, give me the thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe so you know when the next episode comes out. The next episode is going to be on botanical flowers, so more realistic flowers. So it sounds hard, but you know what? I found it a lot easier than lettering, so swing on by. So let's stop as does this, cut that. Let's end as usual with YaYa's Irish blessing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May your heart be light, your colors bright, and may you still find joy and beauty in the work that you create. Until next time, bye.